I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation. Slow to impulse speed.
Stay calm, everyone. What is going on here, number one?
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Strange.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I shouldn't be so confident.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Stay calm, everyone. I shouldn't be so confident.
Engage! On screen.
What the hell is going on? I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
Strange. Make it so. I don't know.
No response, sir.
Enlarge and identify.
In my opinion, sir, they're gibberish.
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
Engage! Move to intercept. I shouldn't be so confident. Slow to impulse speed.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
Slow to impulse speed.
Stay calm, everyone.
I shouldn't be so confident. Let's investigate. Not good enough, damn it! Not good enough! Engage! Let's investigate. Engage! Slow to impulse speed.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I don't know.
We must intervene.
Slow to impulse speed.
What the hell is going on?
I'm picking up an unusual disturbance in the nearby quadrant.
On screen. Make it so.
I'm not sure I have a specific recommendation.
I would rather outthink them than outfight them.
Slow to impulse speed.
I'm Captain Picard. They seem normal enough. Stay calm, everyone. Engage!
Slow to impulse speed.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live in Technicolor from the beautiful Hollywood Hills, California. The show where the total retail price of their advice is $0. This is Timelines Talk. featuring guest stars. The fact of the matter is, oh my, it's Stars and Garters. Also featuring, more like Command Dip Suck, look out, it's Automaton 2000. And now, there's no way he gets this intro right. Here's your host, Captain Idol.
Yes, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fantastic 100% organic premium best fuel you can put in a car that I can't gluten-free.
Locally sourced? Are we locally sourced?
Locally sourced, pesticide-free timelines show devoted to talking about Star Trek timelines. Welcome, guys. It's another show, another week, and even though we did one last night, we're still prepped and raring to talk about what has been happening today with the crew unveiling of the Mega this week. Oh my word! This week we'll
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought we were going to come on here and do like an hour and a half of beholder meters.
Yeah, well,
we've got some.
Yeah, that's all we do. There's nothing here.
By the way, if you're still itching for more honor sale polls, you can go back and check. We did a video last night with a lot of the guests you can expect to see this Saturday at the charity stream for Child's Play. So if you haven't gotten enough B-Golds yet, you can go back, look through there. There were some very bad decisions made and a lot of laughs had.
There were some questionable decisions. Also some questionable beholds as well. I won't spoil it for you, but there were a few hands and heads moment from all of us. It's like, oh god!
I'll give one spoiler. No Vargases to be had by Idol.
There was no Vargases. There was something worse, but there was no Vargases. Before we start the show, our reminder: this very Saturday, we will be doing our charity show for Child's Play charity. You can join us at 5 p.m. GMT or 1300 Eastern. Check your daylight savings times. I know it's 5 p.m.
1
GMT.
o'clock Eastern.
1 o'clock
Eastern. They don't
Eastern.
do army time in the US.
Okay, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, the US doesn't have a standing army. It's
No, they're all currently sitting somewhere. We will be doing our charity show at that time, so please come and join us. It's going to be a long show. We've got a lot of guests. A few of them you can see on the previous video we did last night. We'll be doing beholder meters. We'll have people on for talking about the data core. We'll be having donation goals, which we've been going through the last couple of days, trying to get some interesting and fun stuff to do. We will have Wicked Realm games coming on. It's going to be a long show. There's going to be a lot to do. You can donate on the night. We will have a link ready for you to do that. And just as a pre-warning, the link donation only takes PayPal. So if you're currently setting up and thinking of the night, oh no, I don't need to do that, just get it sorted if you want to donate. And just as a reminder, and I said this last week, even if you see people donating like $200, $300, $400 worth of things, you don't have to do that. And like if you spend or donate what you feel comfortable with, if you only want to donate $1, you still get a shout out. You can still put your text and we will read these, bearing in mind if it's clean enough, we will read it out regardless of the amount. And even if you say you can't donate, come and turn up, come and join in chat, come and talk to us. We will be here for quite a significant amount of time, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting to that really hype stage where it's going to happen.
Did you guys ever have those 90s, 80s infomercials where they would say, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to P.O. Box, blah, blah, blah? Like if you don't have PayPal, you can always send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
The phone-ins, everyone on the phones, on the row, and the benches on the game show kind of stage, didn't you?
Oh, that's what we should do. Yeah, the telephone.
The telephone, that's the one.
It would just be me staring at a phone like...
waiting for someone to call.
Yeah, it's just like any other Saturday night.
I was going to say, can you imagine we're doing call-ins, but that's kind of what we're doing with the guests anyway, but yeah.
The self-burn.
It's going to be fun. Okay, so as always, we at the start of the show, we usually go for the events and we go through the winners, the leaderboard. This week, I don't know, I'm getting a bit... Stars, are you getting a bit tired of it? I'm kind of, I don't think we should pay a particular attention this week.
I think we can skip this entire
segment,
okay,
so...
There's nothing really to talk about.
Nah, there's not much to talk about. Apart from... Very on Automaton 2000 here. Did you get a significant score? Something on the top rank somewhere. I wasn't really paying attention.
Well, before we get into that, because we love our chat, and so since a few people have already asked, they're asking about citation advice. Honor sale is the flavor of the week. We are going to do something for side advice, but not what we've done in the past. And actually, you can help us out right now. Tell us what crew, who you've got so far, who you're thinking about citing, who are your top citation names. And what we're going to do next week in this space on Wednesday is go through the most commonly requested names. So if they're Gary Seven, if they're Dexa, Reunion, Spock, and Kirk, whoever is on the top of your list, let us know in chat. You can send us an email, hit us up on WRG's forums. We're going to grab the top names, and we're going to talk through them like we would do new crew on the show. So you'll see their card up on the screen with their stats. We'll let you know their highlights, their lowlights, if their art is worthy of your citations. And I think we'll do it that way, all in one batch rather than individually, because we just don't have the bandwidth for that. We have too much on our plates. But I think that will serve a lot of people nicely.
Yeah, because like the way the old format worked was essentially we would get your data core profile and we would sort of like work out what your strengths and weaknesses, what are you like tailoring it to what your crest was. But the problem was that getting everyone together for that and like doing the necessary research was just not like really like time. It wasn't time efficient. This is more of a case of here are some common names. Allow us to justify why you should take them so that you don't feel bad. Because everyone feels bad throwing sight on someone, even if it's like the most obvious choice in the entire game. Because you're like, oh, but what if I could have used it on this card that comes out like 3 weeks later or whatever? Allow us to justify the decisions and spare you that remorse, even if it's completely unjustified. That's basically what the intent is.
So cool. Okay, Auto, please tell us what does it take to get a number 1 finish in a skirmish event? And specifically, I have to shout you out for getting exactly 27 million on the dot. I was very impressed with that when I saw that in the leaderboard.
That was my little flair at the end of it. And
little flex.
And apparently, Universe Chat thought that confirmed that I was running a bot. What are the odds that I would land exactly on 27 million? No,
I believe the last time you got number 1 a few weeks back, and No Name Namer was number 2. No Name Namer himself got an exact. He sort of flexed on that as well.
Exactly,
yeah.
Don't worry, those people are just jealous that they can't do maths.
I got close. And then I had to take some damage on my ship so that I could take the hull repair option so I didn't accidentally get VP and screw up the numbers. So it was a little finagling, but it was a lot of fun. So last time people are asking numbers. They wanted to know how many chronotons you spent, blah, blah, blah. So this time I have some numbers for you. So let me run down the big book of skirmish numbers. First off, 144,000 chronotons. So that was... you start with X amount, and then I ended up 144,000 lower. So that's whatever you get through voyages and cadets and stuff over the weekend. I had 33 premium pulls drop from the after battle rewards, and I got no beholds from them. So it was a little bit of honor. I spent 100 dilithium. That was 10 accidental clicks at the end of battles, which was way too high for my liking, but when you're tapping that much, it's bound to happen. So I'm not going to ticket for that. It is what it is. But I guess it's an illegitimate win then, since I spent dilithium, 100 dilithium.
A whole 100 dilithium. What scoundrel you are.
I slept for 17 hours in total. The last 2 nights were 5 hours each. So actually the second half was easier than the first half.
It's not too bad.
I gained 10 captain's levels. I went from 79 to 89. There were about 40 bot checks. I stopped counting after the 30th, but they kept asking me who's Kirk, who's Spock, who's Cisco, about 40 times, I think. I ended up 342,000 honor, which was really the reason why I wanted to do this before the honor sale. So 270,000 of that from the skirmish, 20,000 for a level achievement, and then I ended up 67 million credits from warping all those missions. So I just turned them into credit packs, and I got 52,000 honor from that as well. So it was a lot of honor. And then
we should change your name from Automaton to Exchange 2000, because it's just a currency exchange at this point.
The stocks are high.
Well, what's the going rate for credits to honor? Oh, it's about this.
Once you're in the Matrix, you don't.
I like this crew.
Your fingers just keep wanting to do the same thing. And then I only got 1 legendary pole star from the 10 constellations from ranking. So
you pulled them last night, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah. You can see that on the stream last night if you want to go back. So
Yeah, no, I won't spoil what happens there, but it is fun.
So let me ask you, would you have put, because I remember you saying the last skirmish that you got number 1, you actually got a fair amount of sleep, you were saying this is quite relaxed. This skirmish, how much pressure did you feel from number 2, Captain Skirmish, who was only, I say only 2 million, some of us only scored about 2 million, but only 2 million below you. I believe he was sort of riding a little bit more.
The thing is, you want to, any of you guys pondering a number 1 skirmish finish, you want to get out to a quick start. So the first few days were pretty rough. Like, I stopped skirmishing when I realized that I had fallen asleep in the chair, and then I wake, my eyes are open, and like I lost the battle or something. I'm like, all right, I got to stop now. But if you build up a lead, that is a huge part of it, because what you can do from there, it's all math. Like, this is not Galaxy where you can turn everything in all at once and surprise someone. It's not faction where dilithium is the limiter in getting a number 1 finish. It's sort of, once you have that lead, it's very important, because you can just math it out from there. I think at one point I was up 3 million on him, so I said, okay, if he's going at 400,000 VP per hour, I would check in at hour intervals, try to make sure the pace is consistent. Once you have a lead, you can say, okay, I can sleep X amount of hours before I get back to it. So once you get the lead, it's sort of, you're kind of on cruise control from there. It's a pretty simple formula, but getting that lead at the start is brutal, because you do have to forego sleep and everything else in your life until it's done. Actually, a big part of that is writing down. I went through all my crew and found out, with my very childish handwriting, found out all of the items I needed, all the missions, where they were, and you leave them in the crew open, so you can just go through and warp 10 really quickly. So I try to do that all at the beginning, and because believe it or not, sitting there warp 10 over and over and over, or warp 1 if you're VIP 0, takes a lot of time. It can take hours of a skirmish if you need that much intel. So trying to minimize that time is one thing you can do at the beginning to speed things up. So I will hopefully never ever do that again in a full skirmish.
Until next time.
I'll try and dissuade you, but I somehow don't think I'll be able to.
We'll wait till next time.
Yeah,
you work.
Next time an Orion woman turns up, it's like, that's it.
If it's a Chakotay reward, I might consider it.
We'll get on to that. So you have your 5 Spocks. What have you done? We'll talk a little bit about Reunion, Kirk and Spock again, but what have you done with them? Have you decided to just go for one Falter Pan, or have you gone for just one of the fusion?
Well, I wasn't really enamored with the reward. He was sort of a means to an end to get the fusion crew, so I peeled 1 star off, made the fusion crew. We used our, I think most of us used our honor sale citations to fuse them up this week. And then, so I had a 4-5 left at the end, and I thought, well, you can't, if you win an event, that is a big deal. You can't, like, do your boy dirty and leave him at 4 stars. So I happily put a side on him and finished him up, and he will help me, hopefully, in this event this week.
For Dexa. Okay. Congratulations. Before we talk about before we talk about next week's event or the Mega or anything, something else occurred. We had a little who's that Pokemon message from Wicked Realm Games pop up, which was fantastic, because like you yourself, Auto, have said like, oh, I missed the times when they used to do the silhouette. Used to get, there was the Thrax was the last one I recall. I can't remember if they've done any since.
Suspiria.
Oh, Suspiria. Oh, yes, yeah, of course. Yes.
No, we blocked that out of our memory.
Yeah.
Oh, well, pre us doing this show anyway. Yes, they did a new Who's That Pokemon section, and it came up as Captain Tribble? What? I think everyone saw the art, just went, what are they smoking? And yes, that is the Captain Tribble is a new addition to the Honor Hall, the Honor Hall, and much like Bones McCoy, one skiller command has usurped Pyraith Keiko for the base rank. A lot of people are divided on this crew. I love it. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be happier, honestly.
I think it's brilliant.
Because it kind of fulfills this trend of like... So I do like, if you look at the number 1 bases for each skill, you've got High Roller Cisco, you've got like Hoshi Sato, you've got these like relatively iconic crew, and they make sense, and there's usually like one representative from each series, and But I like that with Command, they seem to have taken the tack of, let's just have a bit of fun with it, because it's like, what's the number one command been for the last year or three? Oh, it's been like most domineering wife in Star Trek, like Keiko possessed by an evil prophet. That's pretty funny. And then it's like, what are we going to replace him with? Are we going to replace it with some kind of amazing Picard variant or some kind of, like amazing cut? No, it's terrible. Let's have fun with it. And let's give him a very significant Star Trek number, 1701.
That's very true.
I like that they're playing with it. They're having fun.
I was watching through DS9 during the skirmish, and I happened upon the Pareth Keiko episode, and I go, you know what, this makes so much sense. Because I hadn't seen it in a while. I go, this makes so much sense. She's bossing around Miles at every opportunity, and just as soon as he thinks he's out from under her thumb, she's like, nope, more work tomorrow. I'm like, all right, this actually, someone watched this episode and then said, hey guys, I got an idea. And they went with it, and it sort of works. Now, I want to start a new tradition here as we theoretically move away from stats and get in more of the flavor of the crew. And this is something that we sort of lamented months ago. They had stopped doing flavor text for crew, and now it's back. So I think let's do our due diligence, inspired by Captain Tribble, because his is hilarious. He says, a particularly perseverant Tribble troubles Kirk when it seizes the captain's chair during a dispute with Klingon forces. So have you guys seen the animated series episode that
Yes.
he comes from?
I have not, but Idol, who is the resident tasker, can tell us all about it.
It's a brief memory. I think I was half paying attention, but do you know what? I will say Taz is great because I really enjoyed my time with it. It has its moments. It is a product of its time, much like the original series, and this was a good episode. It's a follow up to The Trouble with Tribbles. It has Serrano Jones back again to peddle Tribbles back on people again. It's good, but they end up. I think something's different about the Tribbles in this episode. I think they replicate. They don't replicate outwards. They just get bigger, which is why you get this big Tribble in a chair. But yeah.
Now I'm picturing, because I know the other thing I know about Taz is that they have like an inflatable Enterprise. I'm kind of just wishing that you had like the inflatable Enterprise towing a giant Tribble. I feel like that'd be appropriate.
Taz is great. Everyone should watch Taz. If you can watch Lower Decks, you can watch Taz.
I'm not sure if they're totally the same, but it's
When this crew first came out, I sort of facepalmed. I'm like, come on, guys, really? And I guess this goes back to because when I first started playing, I saw the Honor Hall crew as Kalos. I thought that was so cool. He's this giant mytho-historical figure. He's referenced constantly in Trek. The art was cool, the card was great, and I thought, oh, this is so great. And he was my first purchase with Honor, and now we're down I feel like each Honor Hall crew has taken a step down in seriousness, I guess. And so that part of it does bug me. But one thing I like about Honor Hall is it is a great stepping stone for new players. If you're struggling in Gauntlet, or you're struggling on Voyager, or now if you're struggling on Shuttles, this is a crew who's available any time of the year. You don't need to wait for the right event to come along. If you need help in that area, you can just buy it. So I do like that because we've had Gauntlet and Phlox was more of Voyage centric. So I like that now they've gone to that third part of the triad, as it were, and give you a base crew who presumably will not be eclipsed for a long time. So from that point of view, it's sort of a safe investment. Not that anyone dropping 100,000 honor on Tribble is thinking about safe investment. They're thinking about pink koosh ball.
Yeah. He's so fluffy.
Yeah.
I actually do want that as a little toy on my desk. It's a little Tribble in a chair. I'd absolutely adore that. I think it'd be fantastic.
So are you guys buying Tribble? Chat, are you buying Tribble?
I think I will. I think after Honor Sale's done, I just want him.
I can't think of a more cathartic way to deal with I'm going to have a slightly different outlook to the Honor Sale than after the Honor Sale is completed and I'm completely flush and I was 100k Honor, spend it on Tribble, because that's emblematic of no, I'm not gonna hoard for the entire year. I want to just actually spend honor where I want to. Yeah. So nothing more emblematic and cathartic, I think, than spending it on a stupid one-skill crew that make me laugh. Like
you say, you re-look at your outlook on things as well. We'll talk about power creep and stat and the game in a minute. But I want Beverly Picard, not because the card's any good. She's okay, and certainly wouldn't do anything for me. But I love that last episode of TNG, All Good Things, and I love Captain Beverly Picard. I want to get her at some point, but I'm always we were talking about toxic relationship with honor. I've never been thinking, oh, that's not a wise investment. No, I shouldn't get. Well, no, I think going forward, I'm going to get my Tribble, I'm going to get my Nanoprobe Phlox and my Beverly Crusher.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that I accidentally bought Beverly Picard, I think maybe a year and a half ago, and I looked at it and I was like, I could technically ask customer service to take this back and I get my 100k honor back, but then I was like, I'll play around with her in Gauntlet and I'll report back and see how good she actually is, because I was more involved with the book at that time. And then I look back and I think about this honor sale, and I'm like, do I actually really miss having that 100k honor? Would it really have changed my life? And I think, Captain Beverly Picard hasn't done anything amazing for me, but the fact of the matter is,
Yes! Yes!
yes, that one's for you. Is that I didn't miss that 100k honor? There wasn't a massive 100k honor hole in my heart where I was like, damn, I shouldn't have spent it. I was just like,
you could have got 2 more trash beholds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's just. I think moving away from that toxic relationship and just getting back into a regular flow of actually spending honor and investing it more regularly, I think is going to be a lot better for the long-term prospect of the game.
And
So
he's
we have
fluffy.
Clone Wars in chat. We have Clone Wars in chat. Stephen Reed is going to buy Tribble. Stephen and Cinna is not. So. Anyone who's not noticed, by the way, fully fused Tribble's base. You can say he, because there is an invisible male.
That's true.
Hidden trait for Tribble. So
well, they're all born pregnant, so should be female, really.
Well,
I'm just going with what the game.
Unless it's a
I'm
seahorse.
just going with what the game tells us.
Seahorses hold babies for anyway. No, whatever.
Seahorse. All right. So anyway, if you haven't noticed, fully fused. Its base is 1701, a nod to the Enterprise. So that was a nice touch, and statistically, it still fits right in that great spot where he eclipses everyone else.
This is what I'm going to say, because we were talking, or you were talking about, how you tier him and Bones McCoy being these stupidly monstrous one skillers. Where do you tier someone like that? Exactly.
We're not gonna. Come on. This whole thing is a construct of fun. So, I think we made the decision. We're not going to tier this crew. It's going to be the only crew in the game without a tier. It's just a fun thing. If you want the shuttle help, everybody knows what this crew is for. It's for shuttles and daily shuttles and command seating. And if you don't do that, then you don't need them. So,
DC Pilot says,
if we get a few more crew, we can also have a whole Taz voyage eventually.
Yes. Oh, that'd be good.
If you
What
want
are
to
we up
invest
to,
in Commodore Robert April.
As soon as they release a collection, Auto's going to be all over it. It's got a stat boost.
That's true, actually.
yeah.
DC Pilot in chat says, number 2 faction award winner DC Pilot says, I recommend buying Kalis. I said it right this time. I had to think for a minute there. I recommend buying Kalis for those who haven't and want to break the hoarding mentality. I second that. Kalis is absolutely brilliant in Gauntlet especially, and if you want to put the stars on him, he won't be wasted.
Sure.
Yeah, our buddy Plain Simple Garrick did fully fuse him this week with the sites from the honor sale and with the Klingon collection. I mean, if you ever wanted a justification, there you go. I think he's still Voyager 50, so you would use him from time to time there as well.
Okay,
and he's just cool.
Let's move on. This week's Mega, and I've just got to ping up the right image. No, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, there we go. This week's Mega announcement. We've got the next Mega coming up, which is going to be aptly a costumed Mega, seeing as we've had so many costume crew coming along. The Mega crew you can get, that's going to be running for the next 4 weeks after this event, will feature, and I've got to get this right, Barry Waddle, also known as Arn Darwin. Barry Waddle, which is such a weird name, but
so you want to know something great? I'm already going to get right in there. He is introduced in Trials and Tribulations, which is the DS9 sequel episode. He is introduced by Worf, and you have to listen to Michael Dorn step in through the threshold of the fight mess hall. He walks up to O'Brien and Bashir, and he's like, "This is Mr. Barry Waddle," and it's it sets the tone for that episode brilliantly. It's great.
Yes, I just can't help looking at him thinking Barry Manilow, but maybe that's just me, just because of the name. But yes, he was a one-off character in the original series from the Trouble with Tribbles that came back for the DS9 episode, similar to albeit the Klingons 4 Trials and Tribulation. You know what I'm like for talking about things. Anyway, yes, he's back. He's the Mega recurring crew. It's going to be costumed. There's going to be 2 faction events: a skirmish in the galaxy. No hybrids. 2 faction events with a costume pool. Auto, how many people are in that costume pool?
I'll answer that in a second. We have Nifty Mittens in chat, cited up keyless today. Klingon number 60. Do you have an appropriate stream deck hit for the honor of Nifty Mittens actions?
You must think me a fool to make your lies so transparent.
Not that one.
Come on, be nice. I
hang on.
believe the word of a man called Nifty Mittens.
Aha.
You will have nothing.
There we go.
Except my honor.
Sort of.
All right, yeah, we'll
Close
take
enough.
that one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Nifty's here every week in chat, so
Yes, no.
kapla on
Big
your
up to you. Kapla!
fully fused Kaylas. All right, there are... I probably should check that. I think it's about 120.
Professionalism.
121 right now, so Barry will make 122 plus however many we get from the event.
Now, this could go one or
no,
two
actually,
ways.
Is that the single...
He's not costumed, human Saru is, sorry. So there's your 122.
So is this the biggest, like, mega pool, just on its own, not counting variants for individual events?
Yeah, by far. I think the previous one was Discovery end of 2019. They had like...
Which was like 80?
Yeah, it was just shy of 80. And I think the Enterprise one was kind of large as well. Because I think that was everyone from Enterprise, not just bridge crew.
Yeah.
So those two were kind of the high watermark. This one is 50% bigger than that.
We've actually got two faction events as well. Two faction events to use them in.
We need a 50% value banner across the top of the screen.
That is the best value.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it goes faction, galaxy, skirmish, faction. No hybrid this time. And only one of those events will you get your purple fully fused. So, ooh, a rare Ben sighting in chat. It's been a long time, Ben. You must be very busy over there.
Couldn't be anything going on, could there? Anyway, yes, so we're into this mega... excuse me. Oh, dude, please, excuse me.
Don't worry, just die. It's fine.
I will. Someone knows where I live, right?
Imagine what he says to his enemies.
He just says it.
I don't have any enemies, they're all dead.
That's cool.
Hang on, are we the only friends he has? Are we his friends? Anyway,
okay,
Who
so
are you real?
only one of these purples.
White monitor right now.
Only one of these purples will you get fully fused. 3 out of 4 weeks, you're going to have him at 3-4 or so.
okay.
You'll be thinking citations. You'll be thinking recaps.
Let's
I
start
was
with...
going to say, this is probably the single best mega full recaps in ever. Already.
Well, it dovetails nicely with costumed because so they did a trial run with this last year. They did the Mirror Collection and then they did the Mirror Discovery Mega. Now they're doing it again, Costume Collection, Costume Mega. So yeah, recap should be on the table. We already know Barry and Dexa are 2 of the 5, and they are very good crews statistically.
And human
plus
as well.
whatever costumes you can get for the collection. So the recaps are looking pretty juicy so far.
Let's talk about, before we go on to the real juicy one, let's talk about Mr. Manilow himself, Barry. Eng Sec Med for a recurring is an extremely rare combination. And again, like we said, we're not going to keep going on about Voyage rankings, but they will bloody throw top 30 Voyages at us lately. But he is in the top 25. Like, he is number 25. He's got a good, pair rankings, number 1 in the NSEC Voyages. Like, this is a really good recurring crew, not just for, you look at Nanoprobe Phlox, you think, oh, I've got my Eng Med there for the honor pull. You've had various med options in Megas over time, but and even Medic Reno if you want to cite her. But to get 4 or 5 with this kind of rare combination is really nice.
Yeah, no, like this makes me think of like times when we were like looking at like Q as God and thinking, God, we're so lucky, or like determined Jamie, oh, this is the best mega crew we've had yet. And now you look back at it and you go, who are these fucking losers? And it gives us like,
yeah,
like who would have thought we'd actually get an Eng Med crew for mega? That's pretty nuts.
Actually, when I first saw the skill set, I'm like, oh, he's not going to be a good Voyager. Like, they don't give with 2 hands.
Yeah,
you either
that's
get
true.
the skill set or you
risk.
get the command dip side, but with good power. So this was a surprise.
And he's a Klingon.
To carry on the new tradition, a Klingon intelligence operative disguised as a human merchant. Barry was trapped on Cardassia Prime during the Klingon-Cardassian War. And of course, he's from Trials and Tribulations, as we said.
If I recall correctly, he says that he deals mostly in Kivas, Gemstones, and Trillium, which I believe is actually that same thing that Cyrano Jones also traded in, I believe.
Yes.
They were very strong on continuity in that episode, which I appreciate.
I always remember...
So I'm looking forward to equipping, like, a bomb Tribble.
The bit I always remember is they made a big splash of that episode, didn't they? They wanted to sort of really point out the production of it, and they said, we're using the technology from Forrest Gump to superimpose. Yeah. And to this day, it is still stunning, like, to how they integrated.
It holds up excellently.
It really does. Like, it's no just sort of like really bad green screen of them standing awkwardly. No, they put them straight in there. It was done really well.
Yeah, in fact, I remember because they were like looking at what we're going to do for our anniversary episode, and like Voyager came up with its own solution with Flashback. But with this, I remember they were thinking about it, and they were like, well, one of the tech guys has got this like demo he wants to show you. And it was literally a scene from TOS, and it would look completely normal, nothing going. And then one of the tech guys stepped up in the actual footage and was like, hello, and it looked completely seamless. And that was their tech demo, and like, look, we can do this, and it'll look good, like a little demo. And that was kind of like how they managed to prove to the executives, no, it's worth the CGI money for this. It's worth it.
I think when they're all standing in the line, when they're getting grilled by Captain Kirk for starting the fight, and O'Brien's standing there, that's the kind of bit that stands out the most. As like he's there, you know, he's like, you wouldn't believe he wasn't actually in that episode to begin with. You'd have to go back and rewatch it.
I lied to Captain Kirk. Wish Keiko had been there to see it.
If you've ever seen those remaster videos for Blu-ray or whatever, they'll show you the old footage and then they'll do the wipe across the screen and you see the new footage. So I think they've done that. I don't know where it was, but it's some behind the scenes thing. They do the original, the lineup of the guys getting grilled by Kirk, and then they do the wipe and they show O'Brien and Bashir there in their place. And it's well done. That was on my watch list during a very long skirmish as well. And it holds up well, and actually holds up better than the space battle stuff, because for decades, DS9 was sort of the gold standard for ship battles. A lot of Dominion stuff, season 6 and 7, they had these big epic ranging ship battles that you had not seen before. Like, you'd see Picard on the Enterprise like one-on-one firing phasers or whatever, but this was a big scope. And watching through that, I realized, you know, you can buy a $20 game on Steam right now that would do better in ship battles than their big budget production back then. But the Trials and Tribulations video where they superimpose the people, that still holds up pretty well, I think, against current tech.
And it's just a very, very fun episode as well, because you can tell that everyone involved is having a great time. I think Terry Farrell was probably over the moon because she's a massive TOS mark.
And it's so funny because she compliments Spock being cute, and then she goes on and marries Spock's Leonard Nimoy's son.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, Adam Nimoy. Yeah, it's a fun little thing. I do love that setup as well, because like, you know, Sisko's like poking around in like a little junction. He's like, you know, Kirk had quite the reputation as a ladies' man, and she's like, not him.
Well, this is true.
And like,
actually,
it's that little, and then Sisko looks back like, what? And it's like, no, Sisko, you must know that people look at Kirk, but they go for Spock.
Okay, so the one of his, before we get too far away, this is the recurring Mega. So
okay,
let's give him his
time.
One of his traits is undercover operative, and that is very closely entwined with costume. I think there's a lot of situations where, because people are like, why is the recurring Mega not costume? Well, it's not really a costume. It's cosmetic surgery, and if you give him costume, what about Cardassian, Kira, and Jodmos, and all of these crew who are undercover? Recall Troy, maybe they were altered, but they're not. It's not like a costume. It's more like their job. So there's a very fuzzy line, and I have a very long rant about their costume traits, which, you know, we may have to shelf this week, but it's a very fine line. So undercover operative and costume is sort of very closely entwined in this whole Mega theme.
Yeah, the whole sort of thing is like the distinction kind of has to be context, whereas like costume to me puts in the mind of, you know, this is like a casual thing of, oh, we're hanging out in the holodeck, or we're, you know, like we're just having a bit of fun. Whereas undercover operative implies to me danger if you're discovered, you know, an actual like espionage type thing. That's the kind of context I imagine is the distinction. But it isn't always the most consistent, and I don't blame them for that, because it is like a case of you literally have to have someone sit down, watch the episode, and then judge the context. Which I wish it were my job to do that. You know, work for WRG, get paid a paycheck, and then like have to watch Star Trek episodes and go, yeah, this one's costume.
We should have a fun game. We'll pick some random crew from Star Trek and be like, are they costumed? Are they undercover operative? You decide. So, War from Chain of Command. in the black suit.
Undercover operative.
Yeah.
Undercover operative.
I can't think of any others. That was the only one that came into my head. But okay.
Never do
And then
stuff
it'll
live.
be neither.
Yeah, Ben in chat says, I'll be on the charity stream on Saturday with a few other devs. We are very excited, though I warn you that I did not create a cipher or a teaser for anything new. Yes, so I think we did mention that as well for the charity streams. Yes, we're just coming on, have a chat, have a roundtable discussion, just talk about their roles, about what they do in Wicker Realm games.
If you wish to know what these people are like as human beings, which they are, you can come and see them act like human beings.
And that's what it's going to be, because we're all going to have fun doing honor pulls and stuff. But the theme of the evening and afternoon and possibly morning is child's play and a charity for children. So, you've all seen Funko Picard before, and I have a few other toys laying around. I know you guys have tons of toys laying around for Star Trek, for sci-fi, for stuff from your childhood that's been great. So that's sort of the direction that we're going in. But I'm sure there will be a little bit of WRG business talk in there and their roles and all that sort of stuff too. But it'll be a little mix of everything.
Okay, moving on with the big news of this mega is bearing in mind that Shan is looking at the stats of this crew. But oh my word!
The quote from her is, "Human Saru is getting reviewed. Stay tuned."
So Human Saru stats launched. He's the number 1 Voyager. We just had a number 1 Voyager. Well, we had a number 1 Voyager, turned into a number 2 Voyager, then turned into a number 1 Voyager, and now we've got a new one who just absolutely apes it. Not only that, okay, Command Dip Psi, whatever, is also in 2 recent collections. And Human Saru, who I absolutely love, which I want to talk about that episode as well, by the way. I absolutely love Human Saru. This is outstanding. After Auto, you were saying very recently, like, you want to shake up the top ranks. We've only had so many sort of new Voyagers pushing the rank. Well, Rini and Spock and Kirk are here. Here is Human Saru, kind of now upsetting Braxton's long reign at the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, if we assume that the stats hold...
this is true, yes. There is a pause on that.
Yeah, this would be... I don't know if singular is the right word, because he shares a lot of attributes with our crew, but the numbers out there right now, like when this dropped, I was scratching my head and I was squinting at the screen for like a half. I'm like,
you were like, am I still skirmishing? Did I not actually finish? Am I still trapped in this purgatory?
Is this a fever
Am I
dream?
imagining new crew?
Even Saru is shocked. Look at me, he's like...
So they've done this before with base crew. Bones, Tribble, Captain Tribble, Sato, like they have given crew big base leads before, and they generally hold on to it. And like we talked before last week about Reunion Spock and Kirk, sometimes these crew happen. Big monster stat crew who, and then they'll dip back into the regular week to week. Here's this crew, and they slot in average or whatever. But for a Voyager to eclipse this has never happened before. And I know we talk a lot about voyages on the show because that's an important gameplay part for us and for a lot of people. And you think about a name like Braxton. When Braxton debuted, he was only 35 points ahead of Gary 7. Saru is 202 points ahead of Braxton. So this is like order of magnitudes bigger gap. It's like it's him and then it's everyone else. So, you know, you can say the skill set isn't great, and it isn't, but just the sheer statage that you can pack onto your voyage, you can boost all the ancillary skills, you can avoid failing those early skill checks. Like, if the stats hold, me personally, I'm going to slot him onto every voyage, no matter the combo going forward, and then use the other 11 crew to balance the stats, because he just, the raw stats...
Statage.
Sheer statage. It's like wattage, but it's sheer statage.
What's your milli stats?
And not only that, he does have the number 2 dip base as well. So it's a huge, because before you had that big gulf between Sato and everyone else. He bridges that quite well. He's closer to Sato than he is to everyone else,
which is crazy for command led crew.
It's sort of like Professor Sato and Captain Braxton fused together into one crew. Like, he's got the base,
and they made Doug Jones,
like you guys said. Well, I guess that's what it would look like if you fused us together. But And like you said, he does have those two great collections. Even if they tweak the stats, he's still going to be costumed exobiology, which I think probably everyone needs costume crew still. So, even if they pull his stats down back to Earth, even with average stats, you have good collections. Saru's had a faction event in every year, 2017 through now. So you're going to get some usage there. And in combination with Dexa, who we know is a fantastic Voyager, Barry Waddle, good power collection. Like, this is really shaping up to be an all-star gold power type of mega.
I mean, that's 3 out of the 6 golds that are no doubt worth shooting for. That's 6 golds?
Yeah, if we can skip back, they said there are going to be 3 new crew on the last week of the mega, which is sort of a departure. So I don't know if that's going to be 2 purples and a gold or how they're going to work that, but
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do.
Well, it's nice to see them like mess with the format a little bit, because it's like megas have become such a regular occurrence that it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what it's but going like extra crew, it's like, oh, okay, that'll be interesting, something to look forward to. You don't immediately have everything planned out in your head.
You have my attention.
Steven and Sinan chat, aka Genocide, is gonna, from the man who brought you Q Hefner, now brings you Saruman.
I can see it. So, I want to talk a little bit about the episode, because I think Stars, you've watched this go. Auto, you're not as keen, but I think you have watched it. But I think
I haven't stopped talking since we started, so it's your
fine.
Your two's turn to talk about the show.
Fly the flag, yeah.
So, I think you'll agree with me, Stars, that the season 3 overall pretty good. That finale was
the actual final episode was a little bit. It was merely okay. I don't think it was nearly as strong as the season 2 finale. Sorry, that's me.
That's fine.
Open.
But I think
Mexican village.
But I think the best thing about that 2-parter, regardless of whatever you thought, the scenes with Saru and them on the holodeck ship were the kind of the high point of that, which is nice that they're acknowledging it here.
Yeah, no, like I definitely think that in terms of like, because it's always this thing with alien actors on Star Trek is where you have to emote through the prosthetics, and it varies from prosthetic to prosthetic. Like someone like Michael Dorn has a relatively easy time of it because you can still see his eyes, you can still see most of his face. It's just the forehead.
You must see the fire in your eyes.
Well, I was about to say, and then you have people like LeVar Burton who have the most amazing, gorgeous eyes, and then they put white contacts and a visor on them for 7 years. And it's like, let the man emote, because like I think you'll both agree with me that one of the best scenes in All of Insurrection is that moment between Geordi and Picard when his eyes are growing back and you can finally see the sunset for the first time.
That's really good. Yeah.
And it's really genuinely emotional because LeVar Burton gets to act with his eyes.
We talked about this last week. Fuck, is Insurrection good? Are we coming to this?
Pretty good. I would agree with that.
I love it. I personally love it.
It doesn't hold up as well as First Contact, but I still think it's a great fun time.
I was just going to say, in terms of Warm Blanket, which is why I watch Star Trek, I prefer Insurrection to First Contact.
I can see the logic there. But it's a case of like, with different prosthetics, you have different emotions. Like the Klingon makeup for season 1 of Discovery was infamously hard to emote through, and people had complaints about it, especially how the teeth made the Klingon language sound. But no matter what the prosthetic, like Doug Jones, who is like renowned for this kind of character work, he is the man. Yeah. He is who you get when you want someone to convey emotion through makeup, because he is just such a weird beanpole, amazing strangeness of a man. He's a strange noodle. And so when you get to take the makeup off and let him just emote, you get some really amazing work. And as I recall, the was it Sukal? I think his name is the other Kelpian. He has a similar background to Doug Jones. I believe he's like works in like vaudeville or whatever like that, or like classic like theater. And you have to choose a very particular kind of actor to do this kind of emotion. Their scenes were obviously 2 professionals recognizing and then just going for it. And they elevate what would otherwise be kind of like relatively standard material of, you've got to go out and see the world, you've got to stop being afraid. And they elevate it because they are just such professional actors, and they get to have so much, not so much fun because it is like quite heavy stuff, but they get to just relish in the work and really like work it. And that's always fun to have in Star Trek.
There is
work it, girl.
There is one theme with Saru, which is one of the kind of only constant themes. One of my complaints about season 3 of Disco is they kind of wasted a lot of the threads they set up unless they're going to pay them off. Like I've spoken before about sort of Tilly's arc was a bit like it went no, nothing happened to her, But with Saru, he kind of when they emerged in the 32nd century, he found out Kelpie has joined the Federation and like all this, and he was very happy and like. He was devoted to his work, but then he kind of, with Sukal and like finding the holoship, he found a little bit of heritage. We kind of explored a bit more of the post 23rd century Kelpian society with them interacting with the Baul and how they evolved and what happened with this child. And I think that was actually one of the better storyline in season 3 over the whole Burn thing was kind of the main plot line, but I thought this was more emotionally serious, and they both reflected it. I thought that was the definite high point of that series reflected in Human Saru. So that was, and for anyone who hasn't watched it and wondering why is he human, and like they've announced in the Mega, you're going to get
hold on, flavor text.
Oh please,
I'm coming
please.
with the flavor text.
Go on, you do the flavor text.
Malfunctioning
Off the top rope.
a malfunctioning holoprogram aboard the wreckage of the KSF Kiev made Saru appear human.
Yes, yeah. They basically him, Burnham, Culber, and eventually Adira beam down into this.
And Grey.
And Grey as well. Yes, of course. Beam down into the holodeck ship, and they all kind of go, "Oh, like, Culber, you're a Bajoran. Burnham, you're a Trill. What's going on?" But they've been changed to sort of be more safe and reflective appearance to the young Sukal, who is not used to outsiders.
I absolutely loved that little thing because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't actually matter. Apart from like allowing like Doug Jones, like they really didn't have to change. Sonequa Martin Green or Wilson Cruz or any of these like actors. But it's just a case of it's fun and it's like cool to see them in a different makeup, and it's also just I love the Bajoran race. I love like the lore that got set up for them in DS9, and Wilson Cruz makes an amazing like Bajoran. Like he looks great, and it's just it's a little bit of fun in what was otherwise a relatively serious like two-parter. Because you always get to that's part of the fun of like the holodeck episodes is getting to see people in roles they otherwise wouldn't be able to take. And getting to see Grey as a Vulcan and Adira as Zahian. Like, I thought they were very interesting twists, and like getting to see the dichotomy between like what these characters normally like and what the computer has allocated for them. Like, I don't know, I thought I really liked like Discovery season 3, and I thought it ended. I think it ended fine. It didn't end as strongly as season 2, but not everything can. As
an aside, one of my favourite things is when Adira's talking to Stamets. This is in a different episode, but when Adira's talking to Stamets, and she's, obviously she's talking about Grey being part of the Trill Zihantara sort of ritual, but he's always there. He's not gone away. And there's the point where Stamets just tells off the invisible Grey. He can't see him. It's like, you be nice to her.
Yeah.
How dare you? I love that moment. It's like Stamets is just completely like, I'm accepting of this. I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, and it's also this thing of like
I do mushrooms. Come on.
It's like we go through a mycelium highway. Like this Star Trek is what was it that Janeway said? Weirdest part of the job. Like it's just kind of part and parcel. Like the idea that you would be like, you're crazy. It's like, mate, like you would. That was not how you would approach this. But like that was another like little plotline I appreciated was like Adira and Stamets and Culber getting to like create this little found family, which is always a theme in Star Trek, and I enjoyed that as well. I hope we get to see like because you mentioned that we're getting what Burnham and Culber.
Trill, Burnham, Bajoran, Culber were announced. I might have to look through the announcement.
Let me do the whole list, and then I want you guys to tell me who you're most looking forward to. Dexa, Amal Chakotay, come on, Human Saru, Bajoran Culber, Zahian Adira, Trill Burnham, Colonel West, Klingon West, Thelev, Ambassador Thelev, the Andorian, and Human Neelix.
We'll talk about Human Neelix in a minute.
Probably Trill Burnham.
Yeah,
I really liked because like Sonequa Martin Green got a lot of like opportunity to act in the season 3 like in ways that were unlike normal Burnham, like between Mirror Burnham and between like having to act as like a hologram. I thought that was really a fun scene. So I imagine it'll probably be a relatively boring car, probably a dip psychomon just like this through, but I look forward to it. Like I just like seeing Burnham in different like modes, but that's my personal. What about you?
I will take any Burnham. Like I love the character. I think it's just probably my favorite character in Discovery. Like I know a lot of people are up and down, but like I do love that character. Her progression, her evolution through the series, even though it's only been 3 series, like, there has still been a definite evolution from where you see her in the Vulcan Hello, even in the flashback when she turns up as a young sort of Vulcan protege, to now her getting tripped out on sort of weird mind drugs and romping around the 32nd century with a guy with telepathic abilities. You know, it's a good journey. I like it. People have to complain.
Chad, who's on your...
Who you looking forward to?
Well, Chad, who's on your list? Who you guys looking forward to? Come on, you know it's Chakotay for me. You don't have to ask.
Amal
as long as
Chakotay.
Saru's on the screen, 2 things, because I rarely get into the Disco Love Fest. Doug Jones, it's such a small thing. His arms, the way he floats his arms, it's like, give me anything to differentiate yourself, because you go through. If you ever marathon track, and nerds in chat, don't act like you never marathon track. You go, the alien of the week thing is like, whatever. They have a different nose, they're green, and it's like, the bad guys always talk like this, and they always make threats, and it's like, it's. And that's long been one of the criticisms. It's like, why does everyone look human? Why do they all speak English? So it's like anything you can do to differentiate yourself. He feels alien when he does that. Mm-hmm. And I was watching some DS9 episode, and I thought I saw someone do something different with their arms. Doug Jones, like that was my first thought. I thought, cool, they did something different to differentiate themselves. So he definitely nails that. Yeah. And the other thing is the prosthetics, like you talked about. I feel so much pity for these people. That's the reason we had 3 Torzial actresses, is because they couldn't stand the makeup. Cardassian makeup, especially the neck ridges, the face. It's like it's so heavy and it's all over. And I was watching an interview with Andrew Robinson, the guy who plays Garrick, and he said that he actually had claustrophobia when he was younger. And so when he got the role for Garrick and they put him in all the makeup, at the end of the first day, he was like, he called his agent and he said, you got to get me out of this. I can't, I have claustrophobia. I can't do all the makeup and stuff. And he ended up, well, I forget exactly how I put it, but he went to his happy place and he was able to work through it, and he was able to deal with all that makeup. And it puts that episode when they're in the Dominion prison camp and he's cramped in the wall and he has that severe anxiety attack from claustrophobia. That just makes it all the more poignant. But
I was about to say, that, and also the Wire, where like it's revealed that for the first few seasons, he's got like that brain implant that's constantly feeding him like positive neurotransmitters, so that he's basically constantly high. Like that definitely like bit of method acting there. Like that's pretty cool. And one other thing that reminds me, because we're on a bit of a DS9 kick, is one of the things I did like, even if it was very small touch, was that Bajorans clap differently. They clap like this.
I have never noticed that.
It's a small thing. It's a really small thing, but if you ever watch a scene in DS9 where Curious part of the crowd, everyone's like clapping, you will notice that she does it like that, because that's how.
I know some people that do that. I find it weird. You do that. You get a good sound, but you can't.
Well, to be fair, that hurts after a little while. So if you want to do it like
when I was in trouble as a child, my mom used to do that to me, and I knew she was not clapping for me. She was telling me, "You better not get on."
Little do we know that the Bajorans just have a different culture when it comes to looking after their kids.
This is booing. This is booing. I hate this. I hate it.
To put a bow on through, Ben and Chet did say Sean will be posting about his stats soon. So if we get that during the show, we'll relay that to you guys.
Let us know.
Breaking news.
Okay, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the forums.
Listen, there's been another crew that's come up, and we briefly spoke of, and that's an Amal Chakotay. Pronounce that correctly, don't misread it. Amal Chakotay, super rare NSEC dip. Again, another kind of rare combination. Another strong one for super rares. He's got some single digits in his rankings for super rare crew, but this is Workforce. This is the 2-part Voyager episode that I don't remember at all. So I'm hoping one of you guys do.
Shame on you.
I know, sorry.
It's a Chakotay episode. How do you not remember? Come on.
Oh, that's because it's a Chakotay episode.
I remember the broad strokes of the episode. I can give the broad strokes.
Well,
the essential.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, the essential sort of plot is that I think most of the crew of Voyager get kidnapped and then they are brainwiped and then used as a labor workforce on another alien planet. And I believe the only ones left behind are the EMH and Chakotay, and that's where the EMH turns into the ECH for real rather than in a hallucination.
Yes.
Yeah,
is that the one where the pips appear on his neck?
No, that is the hallucination where he's feeding it to the hierarchy. This is one where he is actually in command because they had to give him proper subroutines because he's one of the only people left on the ship.
Activate the photonic cannon.
Photonic activated, sir. This is like Tuvok is best there. And as I recall, Chakotay basically has to go down on the planet and like try and work out how brain fritzed are the rest of our crew. And I think he starts with Janeway because he's thinking, I'm in a different body, she's in a different body. Maybe we can get something going. She's been pretty cold to me these last few seasons, but maybe we can get something going. Otto, you go into more detail.
Welcome, WRG Jerry in chat. I assume this is not an imposter, and we have.
Well, I'm wondering.
They just flock to us.
We now have WRG Ben and Jerry's. So is this like an ice cream commercial?
How dare you! I can't believe you've done this.
That's a sweet combination.
Is there different flavors? Is this Berry Ben's and Juicy Jerry? No, I don't know.
Juicy Jerry. Hey Ben,
hi.
Next time you're around the
Jerry, real juicy.
Next time you're around the office, please make sure that Juicy Jerry is his new nickname from now on. He shall be known as I don't know if he's going to be the one. If he's on the charity stream, we will be introducing him as Juicy Jerry going forward.
I may step out for that moment.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Amal Chakotay.
Yes, please.
Actually, yeah. So he introduces himself as Amal Chakotay in the show. So they could have called him that, and I would have preferred they call him that. But in terms of searchability in the vault, so you can unfreeze your crew and that sort of thing, I'm fine with Amal Chakotay. So that's cool. His flavor text says Chakotay disguised himself as Amal to infiltrate a Quarren work camp and rescue the brainwashed crew of Voyager. So. They can't all be as fun as Captain Tribble's flavor text, sorry, but it's descriptive of where they come from.
I don't think anything can be as fun as Captain Tribble. It's literally the most fun crew.
So he has a number 1 engineering base and the number 2 voyage power, which is why we're sort of okay. So it's one thing for human Saru to be this huge statistical monster, but in the same event, we're getting another purple powerhouse, along with Barry Waddle, who's very good. So it's like that's what sort of set the alarm bells ringing. And he is, as soon as my spreadsheet loads, I'll let you know what company he keeps.
This is your high tiering crew for the week. You get nothing for the next 3 months. Make these last. Ration them.
Nuts for the winter.
Nuts for the winter.
It is worth noting that doesn't the first hours, aka the beginning of this big event, is that not April 1st?
It is. Oh, yes, it is.
Because it's the 24th of March, and I'm getting coming soon in 7 days. Is that April 1st? Is this an April 1st?
It is, yeah. Anyway.
It starts on Thursday. Oh, boy. So what does that mean? Are they all going to be like...
If we keep going till midnight on next week's show, can we pull some jokes? Can we tell some untruths?
That's true. We should plan a few things for that show.
Let's bring all our significant others into this instead. There you go. It's an early April Fools.
He's got about a 50-point base lead over Graython Tolar, as long as we're doing the DS9 talk. And he's number 2 for Voyage. He's right nestled between Alton, You Killed My Father, Inigo Sung, and Roman Captive Kirk. So names you've probably heard of before. So statistically, he's good. Chakotay gets a lot of command IPSEC, so the enges, you're going to want to thaw that when you get those very rare Chakotay events. And the traits are fine. They're not the standard human. Well, they are human Starfleet Federation, but there are a few other ones in there too. So it's a very good crew statistically. For any veteran players out there, he's probably not going to do a lot for you. Just kind of a freeze and pull out for faction events.
So, just divert slightly. One of the things that's been going on in the Discord at the moment is your FHS count. What is your FHS count for Polestar, which is Federation Human Starfleet? Because quite a few people, obviously, they're being the most common. I think people are now tallying until you do eventually get 32,000 of them. But anyone in chat, what is your FHS count currently? Let us know, because it'd be interesting to see how many of which you've got. I'm just looking over mine. I've got 6 Starfleet.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I've got
One
4
Federation.
3 human, 3 Starfleet.
Where's
That's
my
not
human?
too terrible. It could be worse.
I made it to 7 humans before I made it to 3 of anything else. So
Oh, I've got 5 human,
I
5
thought you were
humans,
about to say
6
you made
Starfleet.
7
yeah.
humans, and then they started disappearing.
Yes. Okay.
by the way, I realized today I really got to go back and watch the old Twilight Zone stuff.
Oh,
Because there are a lot of classics I've watched, and my wife won't watch them with me because it really freaks her out, the old school stuff. But like, there's so many classics. See, have you guys watched the old Rod
I've watched
Serling?
I've had a few bits of it, yeah.
I've watched the 80s ones. The very first one with Bruce Willis, who was in it with the nuclear bomb. He's frozen in time, and the nuclear bomb's about to drop on the town. That was quite fantastic. But I've not watched any of the classic sort of 50s, 60s ones.
Oh, they're very. If you enjoy Star Trek, you'll enjoy this. Like it's some of the more messed up and more high. I don't want to say high caliber, more high philosophy ones. Are very Star Trek like moral-esque. I feel.
And
you get a lot of
Shatner's
crossover. Like
in-
you can get Shatner's one. I think Leonard Nimoy is also in one.
Yeah.
I feel like he is.
Could be.
Good
I see
friend.
a lot of 4s, 5s, and 6s.
Yeah,
in
I'm
chats.
seeing Sunkatse
Siete.
has 3 and 3 and 4, which is actually pretty good. That's nice. That's a nicer ratio than what I've seen. Oh, Roy Kirk with the 814. That's very imbalanced.
Are
Back to
these
the
area
519.
You're
Pretty much.
okay. This week's crew, we talked about her statistically last week, but let's go a little bit different. If I can find her.
By
there
the
she
way,
is.
I've been told that Shia Porn is hard at work on "Come on, Mylene" for Dex's Midnight Runners.
Dexa, yes.
Which, by the way, if you didn't know how handsome Shia Porn is, he was on the stream with us last night, so you can go back and watch the video there, and I think he did a bunch of honor pulls too. So go see the big brain genius behind such classics as Braxton.
And he's also got an incredible 20-minute lecture on Godzilla if you're into that kind of thing, which I am.
Oh no, the best clip he shared with me today was the best clip. He submitted it to Stephen Colbert for Gaming with Your Mother. I encourage you to go and watch it, Shy Porn's Gaming with Your Mother. I cracked up. I thought that was brilliant.
It's a really sort of nice, like, a bit of a lead balloon kind of joke, but it's a good one. It's a real good one.
I appreciate the humour.
Yeah.
Dexa, I know you did as well, Auto. I rewatched Homestead today, in fact, this morning whilst I was doing some other things, and that's a great... Like, you don't often say this, but that's a great Neelix episode. Like, it actually makes...
You know what? I'm going to take umbrage with that statement because I find that Neelix is actually quite good when you focus on him and you focus on what makes him as a character and his backstory. It's when you put him in concert with other characters and then refuse to write him intelligently. That's
true,
yes.
Sucks. He is very, very compassionate, very caring in this episode. Very, I don't know. It's like all of He's all of a sudden just turned into like almost a completely different character from like when you first see him in Caretaker. But I think
character development in my Voyager.
I know
that didn't happen.
It must have slipped through Brandon Braga's net, that one. He's lied to him.
Yeah, after the year of hell, and then it gets reset, and they're like, nope. We were going to have consequences, and then we decided, no, let's not. I actually like Neelix pretty much in everything. So he's of course, Star Trek always has to have an alien mirror. Like, they show the best and worst of humanity, and he's that throughout the show. But I don't mind him really at all. Like, he's annoying in parts. Early season, the stuff with him and Kes is like he's intentionally irritating, and he's domineering, and he's like a bad boyfriend, and you can see all those things. But it's like, I don't mind that because that's like, it's sort of a real character. Like, how many bad boyfriends out there, jealous boyfriends, throwing Alfarian hair past, maybe not that, but it's like, he was a jerk at times, and it's like, that's fine, because he's also a sweet guy later on, and so his character arc, I like that.
And it's also like the exact same criticism you can level at Paris, which I think is kind of the point, especially of those early episodes, because Paris is almost in a completely different character in season 1 and 2 than he is the rest of the show.
God, season 1 Paris is awful.
They haven't settled on what makes him decent, and they're kind of playing him up as kind of the Riker type, and that's not really Robert Neal's like strength as an actor. And then he sort of mellows out, and you see what he actually is, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is a way better character. It's like it plays off this nice character development.
Well, he was meant to be the bad boy, and they were also dangling the idea of him and Janeway love interest. So it's like when you listen through the Delta Flyers pod doing all the early episodes, in like every single episode, Robbie is like, I can't believe I was such a dick in those early episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
No. What he actually says is, I don't remember this. A lot of the times he actually cannot remember the Voyager, but yeah. But
so, like you said, this is a great Neelix episode.
Very good.
And I think because I wrote down some thoughts as I was going through it, and then you watched it today, and you were writing down thoughts in Discord. And I'm like, and we had the exact same thoughts as we went through the. So let's do a few of them. First of all, this is like the most obvious one. They violate the Prime Directive by getting involved in the squabble between Dexa's Talaxians and the miners who are trying to drive them out of their homes. And he points out that you're violating the Prime Directive. And Janeway says, we're just helping a friend in distress.
That'll hold up in court.
Yeah, that's the most Janeway, like...
Well, I think... It just reminds me of that bit in The Drumhead when Admiral Norasati is like, do you know how many times you violated the Prime Directive, Captain Picard? 9 times. Does that shock you? It sure as hell shocked the hell out of me. And I'm just thinking about the poor Starfleet JAG when they get back to Earth. And Janeway just hands over the logs, and she says, I've sorted these by Prime Directive violation from order severity from weak to medium to strong to I may have started a war.
Yeah, I imploded a civilization.
Like, I may have also been responsible for wiping out a timeline. Who cares?
Like in Relativity, where she's captured Seven, who's trying to capture Braxton. And Seven's like, if you don't let me go, time is going to unravel. And she's like, I don't give a shit about the Temporal Prime Directive. And I'm like, you should have known if you're going back in time on Janeway's ship. That's what you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of Janeway, sorry, go on.
No, go.
No. Speaking of Janeway, I think there's another point we both sort of hit on that one was what I consider the biggest lie ever told in Star Trek, which was when... obviously there resolves nearer the end of the episode. Neelix is thinking, "What do I do? I'm back to my duties, my ship, but these are my people." And he's in the sort of mess hall, and Janeway's up, and it's like, "Mr. Neelix, I don't think we could run this ship without you." And I'm thinking, what bullshit! Like, you are pandering just to kind of get him to go, "Oh, well, should I stay?" No.
No, but I like that because there's that moment, and then. When they bring Dexa and her son Brax onto the bridge, and innocently little Brax asks Neelix, "What station do you work at?" And he starts fumbling up. Yeah, well, and then Chakotay and Kim come to his rescue, and they're like, "He's so valuable, he's so versatile, he doesn't have just one position." And it's like, so the whole arc was rushed. They had to get him off the ship at the end of the series because they were going home, and that's I have that complaint. That's legit, but it's like. The episode itself, they did the best they could at making sure, okay, all the love that Neelix has poured into the crew these last 7 years, we're going to try to give some back to him. And so it's a little patronizing from Janeway, but, she's throwing him a bone, just like Chakotay and Kim do on the bridge with, this is how much you meant to us. By the way, Juicy Jerry in chat, I'm surprised that you came back for more after we gave you that incredible honorific. So I thought he might never comment in here again.
So I also have to think it's like, so for every moment that there is where Neelix is annoying that you remember, there are tons of little moments where he steps up to the plate and does something that is out of the ordinary and beyond the Call of Duty, and it really is just like a nice moment. I think it might be during Extreme Risk, which I think is like the Torres centric episode in season 5. She's going through this real bad depressive period. And she's hurting herself on the holodeck. She isn't giving a shit about her work. and Neelix is like making the concerted effort to like make her, what is it? I think it's banana pancakes, and it's this little thing where it's like he well, what do you want me to make for you? I'll make it. Like that, like actual. I'm gonna reach out to you and have some empathy for us. Where I don't know what your problem is, but I can tell that you're feeling down. What can I do to make you feel better? And Neelix is unique in doing that. Like a lot of time in Voyager, people will be acting out of their fucking heads, and like maybe their significant other will be like, "You're being kind of a fuck ass," but everyone else will be like, "It's fine." He turns out to work in engineering. He hasn't fired at the warp core yet. It'll be fine.
I think
so
like
Neelix taking the time out of his day to reach out is nice.
It's an age thing, isn't it? Because like when when I was younger watching Voyager, like, oh my god, Neelix is so annoying, can't stand this character. But as you get older, and especially as like for myself, you have children, and like you kind of go, actually, I kind of love Neelix because he is like, there is no bad side to him. He is just pure joy, pure helpfulness. I mean, you kind of appreciate that, don't you?
Early on there is, but then that's the character development arc. He goes from being kind of a dick to, maybe even overly saccharine because he's like always cheerful and he's always... Okay, so another one is the episode Drive, where Paris is so involved in this race, he completely forgot he had some date with B'Elanna, blows her off, and she's again depressed in the mess hall. She's like, we're a bad match. What's the Klingon phrase for bad match? Anyway, it's a phrase her mother used to use. Yeah, it's the Klingon phrase for bad match, and she thinks she and Paris are a bad match, and Neelix bucks her up. One of my favorite episodes is the one where Tuvok gets zapped, loses his memories, and Neelix rehabilitates him, and he ends up baking pastries and making flower candles out of wax, and it's like, that's the great dynamic that, yeah.
Sorry, that just reminded me of that original series episode where, I can't remember which one it was, but they wipe Uhura's memories, and then they restore her memories and rehabilitate her, but they don't address it any further than that. It's like, we just rehabilitated her from like complete moronicism to a competent Starfleet officer.
Completely rebuilt her personality. Exactly the same way it was. Don't worry about it.
And they never went back and addressed that. It's like, sorry, just reminded me of that. Please carry on.
I don't think Chad can handle much.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Neelix anecdotes. So
well, there is more because so one of the other little parts in this flavor text that we got for the Mega is there is going to be a human Neelix, which has let a lot of people thinking, what? Where is this from? Is this an original? But I think a lot of people managed to suss out that it possibly could be the maitre d' from First Contact when they enter the holodeck, and you get satin dress Lily Stone, Tommy Gunn. I'm just going to say Richard Nixon. No, Dixon Hill. There's a character for you.
I am not a Klingon.
I am not a Klingon. Basically, for those of you who don't remember the scene, it's Lily and Picard are trying to get back to the bridge after getting separated from everyone else. And Picard is like, you know what? I have an opportunity here. And he fires at the wall to get their attention. He duck into the horse suite. He keys in the Dixon Hill program. And then when the Borg open it up, it's this like smoky 40s club. And then there's Ethan Phillips out of makeup. And he says, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but we're closed. And you do understand we have a strict dress code. So if you boys don't leave right now, and then they start like scanning him with the little eye lasers, and they realize he's not he's a hologram, and that this is all just a elaborate deception. So that is the maitre d', who we imagine they're going to recontextualize as human Neelix for the purposes of this undercover operative costume Mega, or whatever it is.
Unless it's just another completely random original of like human.
I sent you an image, Idle. If you can throw it up. I sent you an image. Juicy Jerry in chat mentioned Spike Martin, who Ethan Phillips plays.
Oh God, yes.
On Avenue 5. It's an HBO show. I've not seen it, but
I can't say.
You mentioned Spike Martin, so put the image on screen and let's see if this is the human Neelix that we can expect to be getting, because they've done this thing before where they give like Homecoming Burnham. They mentioned as a character that we were getting. They ended up changing the name later on. If this is the First Contact Ethan Phillips character, it wouldn't be a Neelix variant, but they probably just use the name Human Neelix because that's what he's called colloquially or whatever.
Sorry, Discord's being very weird for me. I'll Google it. What was his name again?
Spike Martin.
Spike Martin, that's
yeah.
one.
They have had instances in the past of creating things just for the narrative of an event. I think it was the Astrophysicist Mega, where I think we had the Tom Hardy Cadet Picard, and then he didn't appear in the Mega, still hasn't appeared in game, but he was in art and he was there for story narrative purposes. So if they're going to go with that, I'm perfectly fine with that. Incidentally, earlier on, I think WRG Ben mentioned that all Twilight Zone is amazing, so I think we're on a lock for black and white, like Kirk on a plane. Can we get that? Can we get a timeless original of Kirk on a plane in black and white? I think that'd be pretty cool.
I've just put on screen, it's not the image you sent me, but it is the same character. This is Ethan Phillips in Avenue 5, which is it's got Hugh Laurie and a couple other faces in it, I can't recall right now, but it's quite a funny series. I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, it does have Ethan Phillips as sort of, he plays a sort of retired astronaut on a cruise ship, and he's always like, anytime there's like an emergency, he's always going, I was an astronaut once, I can help, and he's kind of sort of trying to play the know-it-all, and he is very appropriate to his role. He's great in it. It's worth a watch if you can find it. It got commissioned for season 2, so any kind of comedy series that goes for season 2, I'm just like, yes, I'm in, because it's worth watching.
So
also, Ethan Phillips is a great comedic actor. He's great. I know this is probably turning into the Neelix Isn't So Bad show, but like, I do really enjoy the little subplot in Someone to Watch Over Me, where he has that monk who keeps on like getting drunk and eating all the pastries and like living like life ridiculously and hitting on every woman he sees, and Neelix has to try and keep him like sober. And I think that was a pretty fun like use of. Ethan Phillips is a great comedic actor as well as dramatic actor, so I think you're probably worth a shot.
Okay. I think we shall finish on Neelix Hour here.
So we do have an update.
Oh, do we? Please.
Ooh.
Yeah. From Shan about Human Saru. It's come to our attention that the stats for Human Saru currently visible in game are not what we intended them to be. The stats are in the process of being amended. The DIP proficiency stat will see a decrease. The correction is currently scheduled to go live.
Just the proficiency?
This Friday, March 26th, so in 2 days.
Interesting.
Now, it is interesting because she says DIP proficiency, so it's interesting because A, that base is could still be a monster at number 2, very close to Sato, and I think even if they ramp
and it's
the
not
proficiency way down.
Yeah, it's not a massive one.
Well,
so
I mean, it's good size, but he should still be a very good Voyager. Because I just messing around, tweaking his stats. So I said, even if you pulled 200 base off, he would still be the number 1 Voyager. So unless they go total bottom basement barrel on a proficiency, generally a crew's primary proficiency is their biggest one. So if it stays the biggest of his 3 proficiencies, he could still be the number 1 Voyager, just perhaps not by a monstrous margin. So that's something to look forward to in 2 days to see where he falls power-wise.
He is still exobiologist. He is still costume. So like 2 collections for 1 for having a Saru with if it's just the proficiency, that is still absolutely worth it. So yeah, cool. No, thank you for the update.
And so keep in mind that you are in the event for Dexa this weekend. So even though we won't know the stats for another 2 days, that shouldn't really affect your event plans. If you want Dexa, you can still get.
The advantage of the stats coming early is that they can address this a bit quicker without upsetting upsetting people. I've just got in the notes here trait grumble. Did you want to do that now?
Well, hold on. What else do we have? Do we talk about pretty much everything?
We haven't talked about the campaign.
We haven't talked about campaign. We haven't talked about Anxious Kirk.
And Anxious Kirk. I'll keep it short because it's myself and a few others on the forums, because they have a dedicated trait feedback thread when they did this big trait audit thing. And what was Carmen is his name, the wonderful Carmen, who's the mastermind behind all things traits. Went through there, combed through there, grabbed a lot of the suggestions that made sense, and we were told by Ben they went round and around on that and discussed it in WRG, and they ended up adding a bunch of changes that the community recommended. Now, we do have the huge trait thread in the suggestion forum on WRG's forums, so people have collated a lot of changes that are no-brainers that could be made. And so we have, since then we did have that one change. They added costume to High Roller Cisco, and they made little tweaks here and there, but it was suggested that they that they audit costumed before the collection, after they announced the collection, and that didn't really happen. And after the collection, we're also getting a mega, so it's like not only is it gameplay considerations for collection and bonuses, now you're looking at event bonuses too, and it's like if they would have done this a little more thoroughly ahead of time, to get it out of the way, because there are so many egregious things. Like Gangster Spock has costume, Gangster Kirk doesn't. Same episode, same situation.
High Roller Cisco and Decoy Yates both have it, but Virtuoso Doctor doesn't, for example. It's like weird things where it's like, is it context specific? Is it
even in the same episode? Like Bell Q has it, costume, and Colonel Q doesn't, and it's like same episode, same species, same situation. One has it, one doesn't. The Niners collection, half of them are costumed, half of them are not. A lot of the Vanity collections or same episode crew, it's like like these would be very simple, no-brainer tweaks. And even if you don't go through the whole list, a collection and a mega back-to-back, it's like, well, I would really love to see just that specific trait looked at. Like, because he said, Bennett said when we asked him about this, there's so many, it is time-intensive to go through so many crew, and
there's a lot of
God
crew.
knows, God knows, working on the big book, we can attest to the same. But it's like, if you have big plans for a specific trait, collection, mega, like that's exactly the time that you want to look at a more chewable chunk, a bite-sized piece of just one trait. So maybe it's a little late for that. Maybe they are not going to do another big trait audit besides one or two tweaks here and there. But costumed is definitely one trait that is really mismatched. So that's my very kind, gentle grumble on traits.
Cool. We've got a new campaign coming out, coming out. It's already happened, but we haven't had sort of time to address it.
A quarter of the way through.
Yes, I'm one star in, and we're now just talking about it. But yes, it is Bread and Circuses campaign, which features, if I can pull up the right image, yes, there we go, Gladiator Spock and Roman Captive Kirk, both very excellent crew. Eve and good timing on a Spock with Leonard Nimoy's birthday, and obviously William Shatner's, which was yesterday or the day before, I do believe. Fun fact: William Shatner has the same birthday as Captain Kirk. So.
Oh, shocker! That's a
there you go. What a weird coincidence. But I didn't actually know that until yesterday. And he is 90 years old. William Shatner is the glorious age of 90, which is a huge achievement, especially
Has he improved with age?
Depends who you ask.
Yeah, no, we'll leave that one hanging.
Yes.
So this is quite a good campaign, honestly.
Very good campaign.
I looked at this and I was like, this is a very well chosen. There's an actual thematic link here. It's commemorating the cornerstones of Star Trek, and these are cool cards.
It's a weird episode.
TOS is just kind of like that, isn't it?
Season 3, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I think you've been campaigning for Roman Captive Kirk to be one of the tier 1 big book things for a while now. Because he's a bit
we had a discussion on whether we're going to allow sort of command in the super rare leagues anyway, but whether we're going to sort of talk about the command dipsec sort of dull skill sets being up in the tier 1, because in my opinion was like Kirk is just that good, he should be there. I mean, I've been talked down various times, and that's fine, That's what it's about, but there are better. Yeah, I keep trying every now and then. I'm just like, but what about Roman Captive Kirk? Because I will.
If we give you a crumb, you're going to go, okay, here's my list of the real list of the crew I want changed.
No, but he is studded. He is a crew, like a must-have crew for everyone, basically. Even though he's super rare. I'm even considering duping, except I've already airlocked him. So there you
go. If you're going to do purples. The number one reason to do so is events. Pulling them out, throwing them on your faction shuttles, because that's the one thing I'm sure you could use. If you're early on, you could definitely use multiple purples in other areas of the voyages and whatnot. But as your roster matures, the one thing that they come back to in terms of providing value is events and filling all those faction seats. So he definitely is aces there, and he still has the number one voyage score. So if you're a new player and you're like, oh, but I already have so much command IPSec, well, get this one too. Trust me.
There are some, you have to take some. You have to at least have the top ones.
Law of averages demands that you will eventually have to take some, yes.
Yeah. But Gladiator Spock, he's good. I mean, like, he is one of the few crew I will... Sorry, talking over you. One of the few crew, because I have him 5 of 5, because he was in a 390 not long back, and I was like, yes, I can finish my Gladiator Spock, and then here he is in the campaign. I'm like, I will have 4 or 5 of him as well, because it's Spock.
I think the highlight here is traits for me, like with a lot of Spocks. Because, so he had Vulcan collection, and then he had Vulcan collection again when it got expanded. He's hit on exobiology. Now, astrophysicist has had a mega. It might get a collection too. Like anytime you see WRG highlight certain traits, mega collection, even campaign announcements, whatever. Still waiting on that Gardner collection. There's a good chance that they're going to be relevant in the future. And there's a good chance if you have like 13, 12 traits, you know, that they're going to hit on in the future for some kind of value, events, collections, whatever. So that's a highlight for me. The Voyage power isn't quite there, but he's still got a great base for plenty of events, and so he's going to be a little more versatile than you might think just looking at his surface level rank.
And do you know what?
Yeah, because it's been a little while now, and we still don't have very many spots with good security bases, correct? Like we have like him, and then
That's
it's
true.
What?
Mirror?
Gangster
Fugitive
Spock.
Oh, Gangster, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Gangster's like pretty terrible. And then there's Fugitive Spock, and then there's Caliphie Spock. Like not a man known for his security, his proficiency in beating people up.
He threw down a lot in the original series as well, so you would have thought it.
I was laughing at Roy Kirk's quote from this episode. You bring down the network's ratings, Flavius, and we'll do a special on you. If you haven't seen Bread and Circuses, it is
Weird.
It is, okay, it's bad. First of all, if you're willing to marathon classic Trek, I recommend you start 2 episodes before Bread and Circus. Or 2 or 3 episodes, because it ends up being the 3rd episode in a row where the story is a deposed Starfleet captain lands on the planet and contaminates the culture, and it ends up being something different.
It's
than
one of the other
normal
ones, the
course
Garth
of
episode,
evolution.
Whom Gods Destroy.
I think so.
Because that is
and
awful as
like,
well.
Because once I got to Bread and Circuses, I'm like, guys, you just did this storyline 3 times in a row. Please knock it off. And it's so bad because they try to fuse like Desilu, NBC television viewing with ancient Rome, and also like the Jesus Christ, and it's like this weird mishmash of everything you didn't know you didn't want to see.
There's my favorite point from that episode is where they're having sort of a big fight at the end, and then there's McCoy with a shield, and he's trying to have some dialogue, and this guy's just hitting his shield, going yeah. And McCoy's like somehow holding his own, going Jim. It's just like he's not even looking at the fight; he's just holding up the shield while this sort of extra's just bashing on the shield instead of actually fighting.
You know, I gotta check now, but if Gladiator McCoy doesn't have shield regeneration, I'm gonna be really upset. No, he doesn't. They gave him an attack boost.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't even fight. He just holds his shield. Why'd you give him an attack boost?
Well, as I recall, he wrote in his big book note back when he was like a top 10 thing. It was like, oh, one of the 7 most deadly beings in the universe is like a country with a sword and shield.
He came out as like a top 5 security base, and all he does is hold. So, WRG Ben, if you were Juicy Jerry, could go back and change his attack boost to shield regeneration, please. That would be much more thematic.
So, can we just applaud them for finally doing a campaign that thematically makes sense and isn't just like, I wonder how these 2 would get on? It's actually 2 people from the same episode.
We're on that for the next 3 years. Thanks for the material, guys.
2 people from the same episode on the birthdays that makes sense. It's, thank God. Thank you. This is what we want.
And they're good for the cheerio.
And they're
good crew.
Yeah.
I
will take bad crew in a campaign if it kind of like if it meshes well. Like if I don't know, I can't think of any examples at the top of my head. But yeah. Anyway, yes, this Tuesday, following previous to today. Sorry, that was a complete mishmash of words. We had Anxious Kirk, who was the
Star Trek timelines. Who knows where the hell things happen?
Time is a weird anomaly at this point. Anxious Kirk was in the Tuesday pack, which we mentioned as the counterpart for Falterpan Spock to make. He is in this Tuesday pack here. Him, statistically wise, is a bit of a... like, bearing in mind, guys, can we just talk about Anxious Kirk in regards to himself without talking about the fusion? Is that possible?
Not really.
No.
Yes.
It's not like this is a fusion that happened like 6 months after he was released. He was released after this fusion was made clear. In its case of he's very clearly engineered with this fusion in mind because he's pretty damn terrible.
It is the Rick and Morty.
We can't talk about him.
No, because he's the Rick and Morty meme where you got the little robot that appears on the table and is like, "What were you made for?" And the robot just goes, and he just talks to the robot and he goes, "You were made to serve ketchup." And he goes, "Oh." And this is like literally the robot was like, "Why are you here?" It's like, "You were made to fuse Spock. This is your only worth."
It's true. His stats are like really old. They're like, this could be a launch card basically from the launch of the game. But the one thing that stands out to me, and I am so proud of this, because when I wrote up his note, I said he pilfered this get up from a 1984 Royal Caribbean cruise steward, and it's so true. Like if you went, and actually I just that year just came to me, and I went back and looked up and that's the year that Search for Spock came out. I go, boy, that was certainly like it just has that feel of like.
Right, what year was that?
That's the sort of thing. 1984.
I was
if you
born
go
that
back and watch home. If you go back and watch home movies, you're like, what the hell was I wearing? Like that Shatner must think that when he watches Search for Spock.
There's pictures of me in shell suits somewhere.
He was wearing underneath it because, as I recall, like, isn't it? There's a bit where him and Cruz are having that fist fight down on the planet, and he does this ridiculous like flip drop kick, and it's like, fuck you. A, Shatner never did that. B, if he tried, all of the the bits on his gun would fly off. And then C, I refuse to believe that he was ever in the ability to do that. Ever. Like, Christ. It's even more egregious than all the other standard, like, Starfleet hand-to-hand, which is like the double hip fist and the drop kick. Like, that's the most egregious, like, combat maneuver I've ever seen in a Star Trek movie.
Well, yeah, reportedly Shatner never went back and watched any of the Star Trek work he did, so I guess that explains why he kept doing the least effectual fight moves of all time.
Yeah, it's fair.
What are you talking about? If we ever see like a CG reconstructed Shatner doing the Black Widow flip at some point, I wouldn't be surprised.
That'll be the actual. I don't want to hear anything about that.
So listen, I dove and got 2 copies of this Kirk because I want one for him being Kirk, because Kirk events are numerous. Like, okay, maybe Boldly Go will get an expansion that will help, but at some point, Dip Command shuttles are numerous. He will get event play for me if I want him just for that, even a 2 skill array.
Yeah, the other thing to talk about as a standalone crew is, well, it sort of relates to the fusion, is this is going to be a very difficult crew to crew retrieve later on. So if you're VIP 0, or if you didn't get, you took a few swings of the pack, you didn't get them, you might have a real hard time retrieving them later on. Because I was fiddling around in crew retrieval in game, trying Polestar combinations of Cultural Figure, Inspiring, 4-star, whatever I could get, and I couldn't narrow the pool down to fewer than 5 crew, which may even grow between now and the time he enters the portal. So with the quantum cost being so ridiculously high for everything not legendary, like if you have to, shell out 800 quantum per attempt, and you only have a 15-20% chance to get them, that's going to be real rough. So not that we ever encourage y'all out there to pull on 6-packs, but this might be your last best chance to get him outside of just sheer dumb luck from regular premium portals when he enters the portal.
There is a lot of opinions
on the reruns of this, or they have like shoved crew like this into like an event or a campaign track down the road, but whether or not they would do this with a crew that is relatively high in value because of the fusion, I'm less sure about.
Indignant 7 did pop into, I think, on a 490 along the road. Or no, I think it was in a Mega. It was in a 390. She did turn up at some point. So there is something. But again, like for the VIP, I know a lot of the VIP Zellerise infamously has come out and said, like, I will wait for him to be in the pool before I do it. Is the resigning yourself to knowing that like you either want the crew now or you are gonna wait for it. It's entirely sort of your roster, your play. If there was one 6-pack that we would say maybe might be this one, but still it's like you spend your dilithium wisely.
If you want a cautionary warning about what diving into a 6-pack
so
look like, there
shall
are
we
numerous replays of me going through.
Listen, but Okay, let's take the admittance that yes, it is a super rare, but let's talk about, and I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning this, but Garrick, he spent a significant amount of dilithium for a super rare, and it was a bit more than I won't say the amount or anything like that, but it was a bit more than he wanted to spend, I will say that. So even though it is super rare, you got better odds of it, you've also got better odds that it isn't, so, yeah. Be sensible about
Karini
it.
mentions that a member of their fleet went 0 for 20 chasing
Oh,
Kirk.
wow.
That's absurdly bad ratio right there.
I got 2 in 4
know-
packs, so, like, yeah.
I think our buddy Garrick said it took him over 7,000
Yeah.
dilithium, which, I don't mean to sound insensitive, but he can't say we didn't warn you, because we knew this was coming last week, and he said, look, we've heard horror stories. Just because they're purple doesn't mean it ain't going to hurt sometimes, so...
Yeah.
He was going to do it anyway. He's a collector. I think he's got shy of any but 6 of the crew or something like that. You're like, yeah.
But you can say it was still more generous than, for example, Cheesecake 7, because you had the chance to win the crew in the event.
This is true.
Right there the week before, so you are getting part of it.
Yeah.
They do have to make money, so...
And I think they sold
I'm
Mobile Doctor that week as part of the LTO, so, that was
that's
even
true.
yeah.
Yeah, that all lined up.
Everything's
well, I have to
monetization.
assume VIP zero players are kind of used to having to deal with that. So
True.
Not
A little
that it
bit more
doesn't sting if they love the crew, but
I think it stings more if they are, like, Reunion, Kirk and Spock, now number 2 Voyager again, if they are that high and you kind of go, oh man, at least with Evolved Janeway you can sort of counterpart it and, do something else, or at least with Cheesecake you kind of go, okay, they're good, but, it stings a little more when they're actually good. Okay. What else have we got? I think...
Roy Kirk ended up with 6 Kirks and 12 pulls. Well, come on, when you name yourself Roy Kirk, that's cheating.
That Roy Kirk.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
I would like to do my 40k pulls today because I have saved
Go
them.
for it. Let's do it.
We did.
Let's
we
see
did
what
it.
terrible choices we can convince you to make. How
Hey,
many stars can we add to August?
Listen, if you've not seen last night's show and you want to see bad decisions, go and watch what Auto did yesterday because that was
for the love of our viewers. The timeline stalks faithful.
That was absolutely
We're
stunning.
nothing if not a wealth of entertainment.
Okay, hang on. Let me just adjust this ever so slightly. There we go. Right. Okay. Right. Let's go.
Wait,
10
how
for
are you
10.
playing? I thought you were banned.
Apparently that was only temporary. I don't know. They let me back in. I snuck in. I used my secret buy again button and got in. Okay, let's go. First one. 40k. Ooh,
all right, what we got?
Fuck off. For fuck's sake. I'm not duping any of these.
I mean, Soji's still very good.
Oh, she's great, but I've already kicked a 2 or 5 of her out from the Mega when I did recaps. Bye-bye. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Right, that's it. Stream's over.
That's 550 toward your next one.
Huzzah! Oh, my... I am abound with excitement. Oh, yes! I wanted him!
Hey, a costumed crew.
Yes, I actually... And he's the last holodeck enthusiast that I need.
They're all costumed, right?
They are, yes.
They're all costumed,
I'm pretty sure everyone's
costumed. That's a really good behold.
Okay, I actually this makes up for that last one. I will happily trade in a gold for Beowulf Kim because his costume is
If
holodeck
I had
enthusiast.
told you a year ago that you were out there, got and hear that Beowulf Kim, you would have told me I was fucking nuts.
I would, but how?
That's why I love collections, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Old becomes new.
Oh, right. It's number 3.
All right, how painful is it going to be?
Okay.
Costume.
I do like that. I'm not going to take it.
Costumes, I believe.
Yeah, I've got to go.
She's
Trip.
awful.
She is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, it's kind of sad when Archer is positioned in that left slot because he's like, he has no one left to fight. He's off by doing his own thing.
I'm just playing with the corner. Oh, that's all right.
We need a good Trip Tucker in the game. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine brought up a really good idea for a fusion card. Which would be 2 4-stars, Parisi's Wharf and Parisi's Yacht, and you fuse them together so you get the art from the episode.
Oh, the whole gang. That'd be quite cool. I like that.
I would like that. I think that'd
Neon
be cool.
blue.
Mm.
Okay.
Lycra. It's great.
Ooh. By the way, I successfully talked Big McLarge into taking Grand Neg as Zach earlier today. So.
What? How? What
You
were
think I
the
can?
No,
It was real bad
You
options.
did that.
like
Hold
okay,
on, let me find the options because they were real rough.
I can see cultural
It
figure
was-
being a selection.
It was OG Captain Pike and Tyler Son of None, and I think he fell asleep before reading through Tyler's trailers.
You
so
convinced
it's
him to take Zek over a Klingon. I'm amazed.
Oh, Zek's
I mean,
got
at least
good
Zek
traits.
is Wallace Shawn as well. He's cool.
Yes.
Tell
Inconceivable.
me how good a value he is.
No, I'm going to
Very
take Kang.
value.
I'm going to take Kang.
Every time he turns up, you're happy to see him.
Oh,
want
mind
some
you,
Hyperion beetle
exobiology.
Snuff?
Actually,
Oh,
exobiology.
yes.
Shit, yeah, that might actually be the better choice here.
What
No,
are
no,
Kang's traits again? He's got
Klingon
is he a-
diplomat.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't
That's a wrinkle.
know. Shit, I could go 50-50 on
I
either.
mean, let's
'cause-
be realistic. Neither of them are going to be doing anything for you for a while.
No. This is collection fodder purely. Like exobiology, I'm fairly close to getting that last tier, which is another +1 med bonus. So that kind of swings me in Phlox's
I
direction.
would easily bet on another Klingon Mega before I would bet on Phlox getting nearly that many events solo, because he doesn't like a lot of the Enterprise cast don't get a lot of variant events. I would probably take Kang here.
But Zek is fun.
Zeki is fun. What's
have
your
to
Crucible
say,
situation like?
Oh,
Idle. What
Oh,
is your
sorry.
crew slot situation like?
oh, I'm fine for crew slots, but I'm not taking
All right,
Zek.
first of all, quit staring at Phlox's man boobs and answer the question.
Sorry, I didn't. I think you cut out at the end there. I didn't hear that. I think I'm
Don't
gonna.
wait for the man boobs. Answer me now.
Okay, so the trial of Captain Idle that you put together.
Yes.
I must have watched that
sure
thing.
we've quoted the entire scene in bits and pieces. You can piece it together from what we've
I watched
said
that
on
thing a dozen times, and my second favorite part, outside of Red Foreman throwing his hanky down and you adding the little horn, my second, just that. My second favorite part is when Christopher Plummer gets so worked up and he's yelling at him, "Don't wait for the translation. Answer me!" And he puts so much energy in it. He like does the chicken wing. He slams his elbows down.
explodes.
Answer me now.
Yeah, he does the Yosemite Sam. Pressing. It's great.
Listen. If we do donation goals, and one of our donation goals might be reenacting a scene, that could be in there. So I got to take Kang.
be an
I've got to
easy
take
one.
Kang. He's too.
Wait.
Sorry,
Robert Kaiser in chat says, "Come take Zek. Zek is fun. Come take Zek.
Don't
Don't
take
walk.
Zek. Don't
run."
Yeah, no, you got, and you have the little the quartz mug that turns upside down.
Everybody wants you to take Zek. Come on."
I'm taking Kang.
There we go.
I've been waiting like 8 months for this.
Okay.
Fuck's sake!
That's the curse of Zek, by the way.
Yeah, if you take his Zek, that wouldn't happen.
Oh fuck me!
You could dupe Spock.
I could also fucking quit this game and go lead a real life, but here we are.
You don't have a real life. You're
No,
not
no, you
Garrus.
couldn't.
You're
Come
a
on,
cartoon
you're not-
character.
That bluff ain't making it through.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll consider keeping Spock.
No, you're gonna airlock him. We all knew it.
Oh, that was painful.
That's right. Well, you got a citation.
Oh yay! I suppose I could put it on Spock.
Oh yay! Fuck you.
Oh fuck me!
Oh, saved
She's
you
a-
there.
She
It's
is
a mirror crew.
Mirror Crew at least. God, this is
And she's
rough.
got her own show.
Oh, this is rough.
I haven't had an all frozen begold yet, and I can feel it
I've had
coming.
so.
It's gonna be a real rough
I've had
one.
more than I care to admit. Like, it's really. I'm starting to think of Barclay's way of,
Ooh.
Yeah, this is
okay.
nice. I think I'll go
So,
rogue.
by the way, I did a few extra straight drops today because I did the math and I thought, okay, I can make up the honor. So I did what, 6 straight drops today of the gold, the 10,000, and I got 2 Sulus, Vargas, Bridal Keiko, and Chancellor Martok, and then I threw myself over bridge.
Oh, that's right. So who are you taking here? I would take Narek here, actually.
Really? Explain how.
I like Narek, actually. I know that there was a
It's
lot of
okay.
flack for the... I didn't like the angle with the sister, but I thought his actor and his writing was actually quite good.
I like the character.
And he's also easily the best Voyager. He's like Voyager 70 or something like that.
Is he really? Is it?
Yeah, but come on, Command IPSEC.
Yeah. This
Do you
is
need
true.
more
Yeah,
Command
but-
IPSEC?
Yeah,
But
well, you
Satan's
need more
robot.
blooded Psi as well, don't you?
But Satan's robot's got a Satan's robot in it.
It could be anything, even another Satan's. So what if they did Russian nesting doll Satan robots and you like
Oh, I would so buy
there's
that.
like a there's like a tiny robot inside.
And inside the middle is a very little chaotica. Okay, yeah, let's take the
Power the death ray.
I'll take the I've lost count. I think this is too many now.
I think Robot does have one of my favorite scenes ever, which is when he's like pleadfully like going up to like Paris like help, because he's just like completely like fucked up by the photonic aliens. Got Leland, right?
This is Borg, and wishes he was Borg.
He's basically Borg.
Basically Borg. Pseudo Borg. Yeah.
Meat suit Borg.
Leland is good. He is still.
His calling card is voyage power.
Yeah.
But again, you have the skill set really offsets that. So it's like
Okay, can I point something I actually really love? Go back to Leland's art. I never noticed that he actually had two hand phases.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Fully charged and on kill. That's dedication.
That's quite cool.
He is ready to throw down. That's good.
Yeah, by the way, we talk a lot about art. That's good art. That's not just the attention to detail, but the quality as well. So
yeah,
he gets defeated by a couple of sassy Starfleet officers. Well, there you go. Well,
I mean that's Star Trek in a nutshell. So I don't know what you're complaining about there.
What about 5? I don't think we're taking 5 here. I think I want Janeway because she's closer to 5 stars. Also, Janeway's an event name. She's all over the place.
No, I wouldn't.
Tell us again how. What's with her hands on her hips? Because that line cracked me up.
I forget. What was it?
Yeah, how they're offended. That culture was offended by her putting her hands on hips.
Oh, really?
No. You said she is so Janeway that her ability to
do
that pose.
Like
she got assimilated and she's still doing that pose.
Yeah.
I can't believe you forgot such a great line.
I don't remember my own material. I barely remember.
I would probably take Janeway then.
I'm kind of thinking Janeway.
Shia Point says, I thought the Narek Soji romance always brought the show to a screeching halt. I think that it's like it's fine. As Star Trek romances go, it's like there's like a really wide variety. You have like, they can't all be Worf and Dax or like, Riker and Troy. Sometimes you've got to have something like squarely in the middle. It's not Diral and Jadzia from Meridian, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
What was wrong with that one?
He was as bland as a disappointing pancake.
Yeah, no, I've had rich crackers that had more character than he.
Yeah, but that's the kind of guy that Jadzia goes for.
Really?
Oh.
Do you want to have this conversation now, do you?
I'm going to go with
Siete.
From chat who is saying take Janeway, so I'm going to take Janeway. I think Leland's great. I feel he is maybe good. I don't know. We'll see. But I like Janeway. I like
Keep smashing
the Borg.
that buy again button.
I'm gonna. Interesting.
Ooh. Costumed and costumed.
I think they're all costumed, aren't they?
No, Loken is not. Loken is crazy.
He should be.
Why?
No, there's the distinction.
Yeah.
He's an undercover operative, but he's not.
Oh, so are you intimating that perhaps some of these are inconsistently applied?
No, this one they got right. It's all the other ones that they need to work on.
I'm leaning Data purely for holodeck as well because he is holodeck.
He is holodeck enthusiast. He's also royalty.
Yes,
which is cool.
Which is a leap. But
although Kira also is, isn't she?
Yes, correct. She is. She's also a veteran, but whatever. I could go for either Kira or Data, but I'm leaning Data. I think
Data has more event value. I'd go for him.
Yeah.
I mean, Kira's fine for events.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, they're both about equal. I'd say, but I'd say purely because of holodeck.
I meant to say collection value because he's got holodeck as well as costume.
Yeah, I'm going to go holodeck enthusiast because that gets me that sweet Katrine. Not Katrine. Lucille Davenport, who is also costume.
Fake fan.
Now there's your collection nesting doll. You invest in a bunch of costumes to get one more costume.
Yeah.
I think I know who I'm going to take it.
What we got? Oh,
he wants to go Picard, I think.
No.
You
want to take Kamala?
I want to take Kamala. Famke.
So, I had to. I think have I told the story of when I first showed GoldenEye to my friends?
Go on.
No.
Because it's like GoldenEye is the ultimate Bond pop culture and like synthesis. Because you start off the movie and there's Sean Bean. And then within like 10 minutes, you've got Fat Jensen, who is also Jean Grey from the X-Men movies. And then little later on past that, you've got Alan Cumming, who's Nightcrawler. You've got Judi Dench. You've got Michael Kitchen.
Yeah.
If you grew up in the 90s, there is a chance. And you've got Robbie Coltrane. It's just like this smorgasbord of like 90s culture. And it's just like that, like watching Goldeneye through with people who had never seen it before was like really special. So you could take Kamal, and I would be like, you know what, go for it. Why not?
She managed to work her way into another Bond spoof movie called I Spy. Came out in 2002.
Oh God,
it's got Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson, and it's very good Eddie Murphy. It's not his best work, but it's like Eddie Murphy. Look, I've been drinking. This is like my third water, so cut me a break. This is what happens when I don't drink. This is how bad it gets.
You're like Bender. You're worse if you're sober.
It's good Eddie Murphy, so I like that movie too.
I've got to take Amal. I've passed her by so many times, and I actually do love the card. So this is.
And she's a good voice.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out.
Can we do a 10K?
No, I don't actually think I can. Let me just see, because I want to do another couple more days. Let me just run it through.
Oh, come on, dude, you have 42 million credits. Open some packs. You'll have enough honor. Come on.
I've got 20. I can do 20 packs, 0.19. So I'd have to open 10K's worth of. No, I'm not wasting those credits. No. I think I'm done here.
What do you need
I'm
40
not
million
wasting
credits
those credits. Fuck you.
What do you need 40 million credits for?
That's my credits. You can't have none.
Lame. Coward.
Anyway, I think that will cap off. Oh, look, I can get double your crew on Soji Asher, for fuck's sake. I cannot believe I got 2 fucking frozen bullshit beholds.
That's karma for not taking Zach.
I'll put into CS tomorrow, so can I have Zach back and also some decent beholds. Who did I get? I got some good stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Reminder, we are having the charity stream this Saturday. I am very, very, very hyped. Join us at, and I'm going to say 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern, because I got told off for army time earlier. 1300 Eastern, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 1700 GMT, real time, my time, British time, the real time, the only time that matters.
Hail Britannia, Britannia rules the waves.
You know that better than I do.
It's a terrible anthem.
It is pretty bad. Yes, join us. We will have our charity stream. We're all looking forward to it. We're going to be on for some time. We've got guests. We've got Wicked Realm Games coming on. We're going to have some fun with us doing some really stupid stuff for you to give us some donations. Please come and join us on Saturday at that time. We'll be here for a while if you want to kind of drop in.
WRG Ben says he will be doing some polls on Saturday. So
you
if
can
you want to try and talk a developer into making some bad decisions.
Yeah.
You have to get in there.
He's going to come in on like the secret, the dev build, and it's going to have like the next 5 crew that haven't been released, and they're going to pop up in a behold. He's like, which one should I take?
So I've got this elusive treasures. Yes. Who shall I take? The crew you don't know about?
It's got like Charlie X and all the crew that we wanted that we
Assimilate
never got.
Spark. Anyway, so yes, we will see you Saturday. Please, everyone can join in. If you want to donate, please make sure you've got your PayPal set up. You don't have to donate. You just come along, join the chat, have a good time. We're going to enjoy it. We're looking forward to it. Until then, it's bye-bye from myself, bye-bye from the guys. We will see you next time.
Pick